Well, we're still in the playoffs. Let's go. The Eternal Conflict, everybody. Towers of Doom is the starting map of the day. With a best of 5, we are in the losers bracket now. Exodia Light playing against DDX in our first match of the day. And yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. I actually have to double check because I'm pretty sure we're on the losers bracket, and yes, we are. Okay, so Exodia Light got actually beaten by the Gremlins. I just had to double check because normally you don't see them in the lower bracket, and this is where the lower bracket just starts, so I had to make sure, just so I don't tell you the wrong thing all of a sudden. There are no draft rules in the tournament here. We have Towers of Doom as our starting map. This is a best of 5. And we are obviously on the new patch. There's a lot of new meta ideas that already got used by the players. We've seen some pretty cool strategy, especially if you have an eye for nuance as well. It's not only that we had some heroes reappear and being tested out by the teams, but also the way that a lot of the maps are being approached is slightly different. More of a focus also to try and just play around your opponent a bit. So if you go for a completely wrong draft against a highly mobile opponent, they can actually just playing around you a little bit. So it's going to be pretty epic to see what the teams have up their sleeves here. Because I still would assume that now in the playoffs we're going to see some different strategies as well. And we'll also see what of the previous things that were played were more gimmicky ideas that were tested, might have worked out or not, but what they really perceive to be strong enough that they're saying, okay, we're going to use it consistently. So let's go. Rhaegar is our first pick for Danazovsky. That has been a staple for quite some time. Anna gets banned out and Lucio, so they're already targeting Yasuo a little bit to eliminate some of the best heroes that he has. This is a map where Exodia Light and Masquerade in particular, not only in this tournament but in previous ones as well, has actually played quite a bit of Stitches, so we could see a Stitches pick here. And yeah, here comes Junkrat and we get Urel. Junkrat is also very high up currently in priority for picks. I mean, he wasn't bad before either, but I feel like he gets even more priority right now than he did previously. D.Va shouldn't surprise you as a pick. If you have been watching anything in this tournament, you know that if Virgil can play D.Va, he will play D.Va. And since they didn't ban her out this time, D.Va gets, as expected, locked in for him. It's one of the cool things, honestly. There's a couple of players right now that have key heroes that basically get played 90% of the time if they can play them. They're banned out, it's a different story, but outside of that, I would say they go into a pick for them more often than not. Virgil with D.Va, that's one, and then obviously we have also Orphea, which gets played a lot from the Raccoons, but maybe not picked as aggressively because there's still a lot of other damage dealers that might be a better choice, but we see it a lot. And that's pretty interesting. So Malfurion is getting banned out, we have Chromie eliminated, we're still waiting for the front line on the side of DDX, and for Exodia Light, the question of course, what are they going to do here? There's 1,500 euros on the line in the tournament. Yes, this is the lower bracket, which means that if you lose here, you're out. There's still a chance for both of these teams to make it into the grand final, for example. But let's see. So we got Anduin and we got Garrosh in. Today we have also a Cure here for the blue team instead of Copenhagen. He's been on their sub list as far as I know for the entire tournament already. But yeah, today we have Cure hailing from NA here and playing cross server therefore. But with the final 2 picks, now that we have Anduin and Garrosh taken, let's see what the front line for them is going to look like. No Stitches this time. Jojo and Falstad, so we get a global. But we don't have Stitches in the house. It's kind of sad. The Stitches plays that we got from him were pretty fun to watch. Now we have Masquerade on Garrosh, which can also be highly entertaining, so we'll see. But we still need a pick for Bloodcool over here. And then we can head off into the first map of the day. Got quite a lot of matches to go through here. And yeah, for the blue team, it's quite a bit on the line. Sergeant Hammer! Okay, it's hammer time on Towers of Doom. Ladies and gentlemen, map number 1, we got DDX up against Exodia Light. Exodia Light starting off on the left side in blue as we're jumping into game number 1 on Towers of Doom. We got Hazorps on Sergeant Hammer. We got Yasuo and Anduin, Bloodcool on Junkrat. Masquerade is playing Garrosh for the team. And we get Cure on Urel. Over to the right side, Team DDX with Shizakid on Johanna. We got Danazovsky on Rega. Yoshiro is playing Hanzo for the team. We got some global action going on as well with Dead Inside on Falstad. And then last but not least, as so often, Virgil with Diva. So, fun times ahead here. And Sergeant Hammer on level 1 with the advanced artillery. Taking a bit late. They gave the German the Panzer. The Panzer for the German. That is always a bad idea. This is not good. Das ist nicht gut. Alright, so. Danasovsky. Well, there we go already. So the first one instantly eliminated. Rega gone. And that's a nice start for the blue team. So they're kicking things off with a quick kill against the support, against the healer on the side of DDX. Now we have over on the right side an insta-play for the pumpkins. I mean, you get one kill, and now with the 30-second spawn time that was changed in the last patch, we all have... Get wrecked, Jojo. We now have a chance, after a quick kill in the middle, to go for an easier mercenary camp. So this was actually quite nicely done. So you get a kill in the 5v5 in the middle, and then you have now an opportunity to instantly go for a mercenary camp, while your opponent still only has 4 heroes on the map. Death timers are of course super tiny at the beginning of a match, but well, with the with the mercenary camp spawn time now at 30 seconds instead of 1 minute, you all of a sudden have a chance to do something here. Masquerade is spasming out a little bit here. Masquerade is apparently like trying to last hit or something, so he's mixing the games up. I'm sorry, Masquerade, this isn't Dota 2, this isn't League of Losers. Nope, this is Heroes of the Storm. No last hitting required over here, so you don't have to spasm out in the middle of the minion wave. You can save that for other games in the future, like March of Giants, for example. But over here, not needed. Either way, he's dancing a little bit. But since we also have actual dance animations, you might want to go for those. So, with level 4 kicking in on both sides, we're now also getting for Sergeant Hammer an important siege tactics, obviously. Level 7 is going to be highly important on that end. We're getting Subdue, we have explosive arrows for Hanzo, and with the global action that we're getting through Falstad, there's always a chance that the red team is going to just try and dominate the macro game a little bit. At least in some situations they should have a shot of getting a numbers advantage on a fight over an altar. Now that we're heading down into the first altar phase though, we already have pressure through Exodia Light at the bot lane as they're sieging up with Sergeant Hammer to destroy the entire wall. The bell tower itself hasn't been touched yet, but that is essentially only a matter of time, and of course once they have level 7 this is going to help them even further. And there is a lead in experience already for Exodia Light. So they're setting up with Sergeant Hammer over on the left, and Jojo is just being kept at bay too. I think Diva will be needed there eventually. So now we got the nuclear option on level 4, and Jojo is eating a lot of shots. All that channel has already happened through Falstad. Up here at the top, Bloodcool is trying to go for it, but will be interrupted a little bit by Diva. But Falstad is now flying down, and that's a numbers advantage right there for Exodia Light. The problem is that Falstad gets instantly targeted by Garrosh, but they are trying to get that hit, and Diva is still interrupting at the top. Interrupts down here also coming through, and Jojo is low. Even with those blinds that we're getting from Johanna, Sergeant Hammer is just doing too much work. The channel has already happened, and now we have the 4 shots fired against the red team's core, and they actually had to retreat at the bottom of the map as well. They can interrupt again, can annoy Masquerade a bit, but eventually the channel happens, and the blue team pulls ahead in core points. And that was with Falstad flying in, so... yeah, this could get dicey. Sergeant Hammer already in position here to assist with the camp that they're attempting to steal away once again. And they are able to do it. They have also the displacement of Junkrat, of course, with those mines and traps. So the blue team is in a pretty decent spot. I mean, they're mega annoying to play against right now. And that's Jojo gone once more. So Junkrat able to get the trap in. Shield wasn't up any longer for Johanna, and that essentially means that she had no means of escape and was easily eliminated here. So the bell tower, talking about eliminating things at the bottom of the map, is about to go down too. And Rega will fall as well. So that is kill number 4. 5 kills to 0 Hanzo gets also murdered. Hanzo is dead too, and that's the bell tower gone, and whew, this is quite the opening into game number 1 from Exodia Light. Not only are they massively pulling ahead, they're really making a statement here. I mean, I know it's only the early game on the map, but they're going through the opponent like hot butter through cheese here. They're absolutely just crushing them. I mean, there's level 10 kicking in any moment now for the blue team, and DDX is still sitting at 8.5. So for quite some time, we're going to see just a super dominant performance from the blue team as DDX is going to attempt to catch up on this. So this is not going to be easy. Once again over here, next attack is already coming out. And yeah, well, Cure, okay, gets away here. Red team has decided they want to push a little bit. They had Inspire assisting them as it hit the minion wave. Down here, Hasu is just like sitting. I mean, again, Hammer with absolutely spectacular gameplay here again, weaving those auto attacks in like an absolute boss and protecting the pumpkins that make a play towards the core and get a few more points removed. So that's D.Va gone. Mech and Pilot both destroyed, and they might make a move for that bell tower as well with level 10 abilities, why wouldn't they? But Cure, okay, Cure's the first one to go down. Finally a kill for DDX, that brings them a bit closer to level 10, but they're losing Hanzo a second later. And, oof, Danasovsky was nearly destroyed as well. So Shizakid can interrupt once again, I suppose, but if they position properly towards the top, that channel should eventually happen. And then we're having still the altar left on the left side. So that's 5 shots fired. Fawcett is trying to retake using his minions with Inspire being activated, but that's not going to be fast enough, and this one is getting channeled through too. So that means we're now looking at 19 points on the red team's core against 36. So a very, very successful first 5-6 minutes of the game for Exodia Light. A comeback always possible on this map, of course, but I guess it's fair to say that it's going to be difficult. And, well, guess who gets caught at the top? D.Va gets attacked, and there's the light bomb, and it's a perfect combo. The arrow just missing completely. I mean, even if it doesn't connect here, it doesn't do anything for them. So now we have D.Va gone, and they instantly make a play for the boss. They're already there. Boss is already aggroed, so why not? Bell tower at the bottom right is lost anyways. Was retaken by DDX. But this is just looking fantastic now for the blue team. They get the next 4 shots fired, so that's now 15 points on the core, while they are sitting at 36. So huge advantage. Massive advantage now for the blue team. Sergeant Hammer had the same damage output that we're seeing from Hanzo, both of them on 23,000. And yeah, down here, they're already trying to go for another kill. Kyo was flanking in, but missed the hit. And, oh, okay, so D.Va popping her ult, going straight for the bunny hop in this encounter. Another little flip, Virgil, and they're getting away from this. There's just a bit of zoning happening. Cure, Blood Cool, still all sitting right there, and especially Cure needs to be careful. Blessed Shield, they really want him. Pops his ult, so it's a cooldown trade. One that obviously Jojo wins, much lower cooldown than what we just saw from Cure here, but still. Urel didn't die, so they're totally fine. They have a level 13 talent advantage now as well, so pulling a bit ahead on this. And the pumpkins over on the left get now claimed. You can take a bit of a look at the experience distribution too. If you look at mercenary experience, for example, there's a pretty significant gap between the two teams, mainly because the blue team was able to sneak so many of these bot lane pumpkins. Oh, and the next arrow missing. That's 2 in a row now that just go far, so that's unfortunate. The Ancestral hit home, just in time though, saving Rhaegar, and now they're turning it on Masquerade, who gets saved by Anduin, and D.Va dies again. Pure was also to jump out. It honestly looked for a moment like DDX might be able to get a kill or two, but instead they lost D.Va, and now they're all insanely low. The Blessed Shield connects hard, but there's no follow-up. Did they get a follow-up at this point, or there could have been a few more kills? So Falstad has to use the gas. They're still trying to fight for the altar as best as they can. It would be 4 shots against the core, and that's exactly what we're getting. So the red team now down to 11 points on the core here. Yep, that sucks a little bit. Now, same time, pumpkins are getting taken once again. Yeah, won't be able to fight for those either. D.Va says hello again after coming back in. Goes for the bunny hop. Has to go for Masquerade, and he pops Indomitable and is moving out there quickly. It's actually kind of funny because the ult cooldown and the Indomitable cooldown is very close. So that's a big tool also going for Masquerade here. For D.Va so far that's still fine. But the one level advantage that Exodia Light has been maintaining throughout most of the series is still a thing here. And there's Jojo. Targeted, focused, eliminated. Rega dies as well. That's 2 down. They want the pilot, and they might get her. No. Instead, Falstad might be the next one that they're aiming for. Q has to jump out here, but it's 11 kills to 1. I mean, they are just slapping them around, honestly. Like, this is getting a bit nasty. That is a 10 kill advantage at this point. So, yeah. There comes the... Ooh, okay. Hanzo is dead. That completes the dozen. Bell Tower is taken 2. I mean, honestly, guys, make sure that if you have young children watching this right now, that you maybe lead them out of the room or pacify them with a bit of chocolate or something along those lines. I am definitely not responsible for any long-term damage that has been done by watching a game like this. I mean, what's happening here isn't legal in the majority of states, as far as I know, but this is just absolutely nasty. Exodia Light is just crushing DDX in this series. We had finally a second kill against Exodia Light. Q is essentially feeding here, but this is a numbers advantage now for DDX. The question is, can they use it? Arrow comes, connects. Problem is that, oh, Johanna gets absolutely murdered here by the BFG. But there's a counter kill. They get Junkrat. So we actually have DDX fighting back a little bit. And they're getting another altar channel. Congratulations. Round of applause. Nice. Well done. A glimmer of hope. Light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe. Just maybe. Is it a comeback? They lost the bell tower at the bottom right. But they can at least get the shots fired. So that's in total 6 shots fired against Exodia Light. They got both of the altars. Now they are up against the level 16 advantage for the blue team. But that was pretty good. That was pretty good. I like that. So, well, in the meantime, we have all the way up towards the middle. Cure and Virgil still going toe-to-toe against each other. Over on the left side, Hazu with the next camp claimed. And the bell tower conversion at the bottom of the map has also happened. So little doggy over here still doing his thing. We have the level 16 talents for both, which means even fights from here on out. Pumpkins are in. This is actually the spooky season now, so as we are approaching Halloween, this is starting to, you know, look a little bit better, just in general, because now all of a sudden we have pumpkins, we have the whole Halloweeny thingy, and yeah, feels like it's appropriate to start things off with Towers of Doom now, is essentially what I'm trying to say here. So, shots are coming. They're trying to make the play again for Masquerade. Blessed Shield and Gus being used, and the arrow misses again. It really feels like Hanzo is saving all of the good arrows for the next map. It is a bit unfortunate. Yeah, we have all the way up towards the top, the next altar channel. Sorry, the next altar spawn being announced. It's a triple altar phase that we're talking about again. So this is really the one where DDX has to step it up big time, leverage Falstad. Or they're going to be in a world of pain. Johanna goes down, gets BFG'd again. What is Blizzard saying what that means? The blunt force gun. Quake taught us all what BFG really stands for. Quake, Doom, and all of those games. So yeah, I think it's not that. But okay, I get it. We need to be more Disney. So 14 kills to 3. Cure again targeted. Careful, Virgil, and yeah, D.Va is still fine. D.Va is still fine. The boss wants to have a piece of the action as well, and is starting to attack too. We are on the single digits now. It's 3 points on the core for DDX. So yeah, it's getting really tough. The air is getting mighty thin up here. So with 14 kills, 2-3. This is still the game of Exodia Light. I mean, they are absolutely crushing it. These guys are on a tear. Call them butter, cause they're on a roll. So, top side, seems like they're trying to remove the boss as an equation from the game, and with success. Exodia Light decided that they're not going to YOLO into that. They know that they can play this a little bit slower, and they're still gonna have a nice time here. So it's more about pumpkins right now, maybe a little bit lane control, trying to get the bell tower back. Red team, they need to win every single fight from here on out. I mean, it's late game scaling that's really the most important on Towers of Doom. That was always the case. But this is a pretty big gap that you have to bridge. To be fair to them, it's now 3 points to 22. So a little bit more manageable, but still, of course, disastrous odds for them. Then again, this is the comeback map. This was always the case. If there was ever a 6.5 out of 10 moment, then it was in here. So, shots fired. Yeah, and D.Va still alive. Jojo gets the Ancestral in time and is able to make it. Nicely done. That was actually clutch. For a second I thought that Jojo would die here too. But nope, so she's still okay. That's an altar, single altar at the bottom of the map. Most of the ults are gone now. Most of the ults are gone, and Hazu is already with Sergeant Hammer getting in position to just simply push him out as best as he can. The channel ready in 15 seconds. Q is sitting at the side here. Also, D.Va is starting to come from the top. Gets instantly met. Yeah, there's the boost out here, okay. We still don't have any ults available for the red team. That's a bit of a problem for them right now. But they need to win this altar. They're going to throw everything into this. This is the hill that they might actually die on. So here comes the light bomb. Ooh, does not connect with anything. Cure was targeted and they were trying to help him out here. Cure, also a little bit low in mana and does not have his ult. And dies again! Reported! 3 deaths. Anduina is also gone. That's the second kill against the blue team. And guys, this is going to be a channel for DDX. DDX is going to get this one and they might. Probably not. But for a second, maybe they can get that. Now that Sergeant Hammer is gone, maybe they can get that bell tower. They could delay the channel, but Danazovsky wants to get it. They want the bell tower, but they're not waiting to claim the bell tower and then the channel. So they want to make sure that they're having the shots fired and that they're not losing the game here. But technically speaking, they could have gotten 1 more point removed from the blue team score by just simply getting the bell tower first. But yeah, at this point now, we're having a potential push for the middle. It's all about control, right? You need map control. You need more bell towers. You need to use false stat. You need to leverage all of this, and this is what they kind of need to do right now. So they're pushing for the middle. And with 2 heroes still gone, there's a really good chance for DDX to get themselves a second bell tower. This is a comeback, guys. I mean, there's potential here. We have level 20 talents, and look, for example, what Falstad has decided to play with. Falstad went into the Epic Mount. So he is going to be much more mobile on the map and can try to either take or defend bell towers as they come up. They're trying to go for the next kill here. 5 versus 5 now. Cure gets hit again and saved by Anduin. Cure makes it, Masquerade doesn't. So Masquerade is gone, Pumpkins are taken, and Hammer is bye-bye gone.
And we say bye-bye.
Urel also gets killed, and I don't know what... Nice Sudoku move here by Hanzo. Hanzo decided that it's not worth living any longer. So shots are fired against the core from the Pumpkins. Now it's a double altar. And guys, this is potentially a comeback. I mean, look at Hanzo, by the way. Hanzo was just... he just had enough. I was like, this world is not worth living for anymore. So now we have the push at the top with Inspire. And it's 3 points to 17. I honestly think Exodia Light loses it here now. I think this is over. The bell tower gets claimed. There's a double altar. All they gotta do is channel the 2 and it's lights out. Like, who is gonna take back a bell tower at this point? Falstad is flying into the middle to defend. This is game. This is literally game. I'm not even kidding. Just goes for the gust here. The channels are happening. That is 14 shots through the channels alone. And look at this. It's an insane barrage. And that's game. That's it. GG. DDX turned the game around and just slaps Exodia Light. A victory for the red team. Insane. We're going to head in game number 2 in a second. Guys, if you enjoy the content, if you like the coverage here, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. It really helps to spread the videos to people that were interested in Heroes of the Storm in the past and might rejoin the game. So spread the love a little bit, help to promote the games here, like and subscribe, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of the series. Sky Temple is our second map, and boy, oh boy, this was a fun one. So apparently the strategy to win on Towers of Doom hasn't changed in the last couple of years, and also hasn't changed with the new patch. You basically lose the entire game, and then in the late game you make sure that you have the composition that just scales better. You start to completely destroy your opponent, take over the map, and just crush them. So, congratulations to DDX. I gotta say, when it comes to comebacks on Towers of Doom, this was definitely a special one. Exodia Light just they didn't know what happened. They were just sitting there, just like, the hits keep coming, what's going on here? And at some point, it was just too much to handle. It lost control over every single bell tower. The barrage started, and then we had massive channels on the available altars, and that was that. So, nice win by DDX as we're heading for map number 2. Quick reminder as well, for the people that are watching this on YouTube, we have Meta Madness coming up again in November. I did a video about this the other day, but since we have a huge viewership also on YouTube, not only on Twitch, usually the number of pre-bans, the number of heroes that can't be played in the tournament at all, hinges on sub-goals on the live stream. So this is usually where the priority is. But as some people pointed out to me in the past, it would make sense to also award people on YouTube for joining as a member there. So it's the same thing. Anybody that joins as a member on YouTube in the time frame, meaning in the next 4 weeks, will also be added to those sub-goals. So I usually check before the live streams if there were any new members on YouTube that joined, and then that will be added to the tally, which means that right now, if you are supporting the YouTube channel by joining as a member, then it also means that automatically that contributes to more heroes being banned for Meta Madness. Just as a little bit of a side note, if you want to have more information about the tournament, you don't know what Meta Madness is, you can also, of course, like post a comment and I'll explain that. But regular viewers of the channel should be familiar with the format. It's an idea to just, you know, push people a little bit out of their comfort zone, and one part of that is banning heroes completely from the tournament. If you don't know about the format, I would highly recommend that you go down the video list a little bit and check out the video where I announced Meta Madness. In there, I not only explain the format a bit more in detail, but also the links are there to vote for which hero you might want to not have in the tournament. Bit of a side tangent here. But in our game at hand for the internal conflict, we now have basically the exact same draft from DDX that they played before. I mean, seriously, the exact same bans from them, and then Rhaegar, Diva, Jojo. Where have I seen this before? So we're going to Sky Temple right now, and they were like, what if we pick the exact same heroes? Falstad is, of course, taken away, so they can't take the birdie anymore. Would be interesting to see if Exodia Light adds even more global heroes to the mix, I suppose, if they go for a full mobile meta squad for the macro game. But at least the initial core of DDX is the same of what we've seen previously. And I really want to see how Exodia Light is going to handle this right now, because they dominated the map. They dominated game number 1. I mean, they just crushed it. And then they got maybe a little bit sloppy in 1 or 2 fights towards the end. Not a big deal. But they just never got to the point where they recovered, stabilized again, and then were able to take the game. So EDX did too well there. But by now we have Hanzo and we have Yrel. Yeah, Cure with the same hero once again. So Hanzo and Falstad were played previously by DDX, and now they of course need to change their damage dealers at least. Their front, their core of the composition is the same, and let's see what they're planning to do right now. Mirrodin banned, so Masquerade has to go for something different. We have Sylvanas and Greymane. That is always the push comp. If you get Sylvanas and Greymane on the same structure, that structure is gone in seconds. So great little tool that they could use if they can create some space for them. That leaves us with Masquerade and the final pick. Technically, you could go for Stitches, I guess. With Masquerade, I always like have an eye out if he can go for Stitches or not. With Falstad Gust, it's technically possible, but we have Tyrael here. So, yeah, wouldn't really have been my first choice either. So, Tyrael comes in. We're going to do Sky Temple, everybody. So, well, let's have a look. Map number 2 between DDX and Exodia Light. Exodia Light sitting on a big fat 0 when it comes to the score after game number 1. Yep, that was quite the comeback there. We have on the left now Hazops on Falstad, Bloodcool on Hanzo, Masquerade is playing Tyrael, Cure again on Yrel, and Yazu on Brightwing. On the right side of the map, DDX, after a glorious comeback victory, a 6.5 out of 10 moment for the red team on Towers of Doom. We now have Shizakid on Joanna. Danazovsky is playing Rhaegar. We got Virgil on Diva. Yoshiro on Greymane. And Dead Inside is playing Sylvanas. By the way, just as a little bit of a side note, some people don't seem to know what 6.5 out of 10 refers to and what the meme is. So essentially, when Heroes of the Storm got released, there was an IGN review where a guy reviewed the game, and the reviewer was a hardcore Dota 2 fan that posted one of the most ridiculous game reviews that ever existed. And one of the things that he basically said is like, this game is horrible, it has zero comeback mechanics, this is why I give it 6.5 out of 10. So ever since then, that just became a massive meme, specifically the score tied to the statement that the game has no comeback mechanics, when obviously just the opposite is the case. But the guy was incredibly salty, didn't want to have another MOBA in the world apparently, and then yeah, went for one of the most, I mean, one of the worst reviews that I've seen in a while. I mean, it really felt like the guy didn't even play the game. Then again, Blizzard in the years gone has clearly shown that the people that develop the games don't play their own game, so can you really fault them? Diablo 4. Go play Path of Exile 2 instead. Danazovsky is dead again. Oh, this reminds me of game number 1. I actually like what DDX is doing there. They're trying to replicate the exact same strategy that they had in game number 1. They go at the early game into a fight, then they lose Rhaegar, and then they proceed to get absolutely slaughtered, and they try to go for the comeback. That was the strategy for game 1, worked like a charm. So now we're going to see what exactly is going to happen in game number 2, the second map. But already the push at the top, Sylvanas is basically shutting this down. Danazovsky again, that is a lazy doggy over there, goes back to sleep immediately and now back at the Nexus. So yeah, there's a little bit of dog training that is needed, in my opinion. That dog is just a little bit too, it's too reactionary, you know? Sees something, immediately gets distracted, jumps a little bit too far out, and then finds itself in danger, gets targeted and taken down. So they definitely have to work a bit on that. Maybe put a leash on it for a while and just keep it a bit more in the back, you know, something like that. But they gotta be careful, because that doggy is just a bit too active, and yeah. 2 kills immediately against Rhaegar. Now, in the meantime, we got Brightwing taking the top, Falstad taking the bot lane, so the globals have already started to split out onto the 2 auxiliary lanes. But I talked a little bit about Sylvanas and Greymane earlier, so if for some reason they end up, let's say, at the bottom of the map pushing for structures and not going for any of the temples, they could do an enormous amount of damage there. But of course you don't want to give up both of the shots. Possession already being used by Sylvanas, takes the backline minions away. Possession is a pretty fun one, especially of course in the context of the new Inspire push mechanic being a thing. Possession is kind of wild as a tool. This is really where you see people... Oh, that's a kill. Yep, Tyrael is gone. Alright, Masquerade is down. This is where you really also see how people react to the patch. I mean, if you're looking at the difference between, let's say, a public game and what's happening on the more competitive level, a lot of people in public just don't really understand that they have to react to somebody pushing the lane. So if you find yourself in any game where Sylvanas is solo pushing a lane and there's nobody that counters that, then this is going to be a lane that will get absolutely wrecked. So you need to really be... You need some more map awareness than you had previously, and I think that's actually a good thing. So, for sure. Now, once again, we have shots fired on both sides. The middle has been completely exhausted, but at the top there's still a few left. Danazovsky has to be careful here. Yoshiro too, tapped the fountain already. They're going for Cure again. The Space Goat gets away, and yeah, Urel can hop around there until she's blue in the face if she wants to. But they are going to indeed get the final shot. So there's a few more fired towards the top lane, which means that the next tower is down. And Falstad is still following up and trying to be a bit aggressive here. Level 7 abilities obviously now on both sides. We have in the middle a bit of a push happening from Virgil. Again, Might of the Banshee Queen for Sylvanas on level 1. And then we got the Barbed Shot on level 7. And Greymane is immediately back and goes for a few of the camps. So, yeah, does his thing right there. 3 kills so far, 2 against 1. Things have started to calm down slightly. Masquerade still trying to go for a bit of a trap. Tyrael getting played a lot, by the way, these days. So Tyrael has, as he often does, seen another resurgence. That happens a ton. Tyrael is one of those heroes, even when there's nothing that changes, he just dips in and out of the meta consistently. But now we have a lot of Tyrael plays again these days. A lot of that also with Judgment, which of course makes things super entertaining. Nice body blocking here too. And Shizakid gets crushed. So, Jojo is dead. Top side, they're also trying to get a kill, but here it's a 2 versus 2 battle. It seems to go nowhere. The camp, on the other hand, that's going one direction and one direction only. Talked about Judgment, and there it is. So Judgment indeed gets claimed, and we'll see if the follow-up is there. You could go Judgment into Hanzo Arrow. We even seen the Dragon's Strike the other day again from Hanzo. So in this case, it's Judgment into Arrow, most likely, to chain the CC a bit more aggressively. 3 kills for Exodia Light. They definitely want to have revenge for the last game, of course, as well. Yeah. 100%. Cure now. Ooh. I mean, he has game, spray game, but that's not really on point. Like, really standard. That's what we're going for here. Standard spray. Nothing customized. I mean, this is not worthy of a yellow card or anything, but it's still a bit of a disappointment. I expected more. There's a veteran that we're talking about here, so, nah. This is basically on the same level as when we saw the Raccoons not using the Raccoon mount. It's just a bit disappointing, you know? That's just what happened here. Okay, so, nice fight at the top. The problem is that the bell tower at the bottom of the map has already been taken by the blue team, and they're also getting, with their aggression, that structure with ease. Greymane isn't even here. I mean, again, there are enough heroes that can do a significant amount of damage, but Greymane was still defending. So now instead they're moving towards the middle, hoping to get this one too. Falstad gets attacked, rest of the team is on their way. As the bunny hop, Brightwing says hello, and instead they're targeting with a blessed shield. Good old Masquerade. The arrow, again, not going anywhere. Diva gets killed though, and fully eliminated. So it's a trade in kills, but it was actually nicely done against Tyrael. We talked a bit about Arrow after Judgment, and now instead what we got is Blessed Shield straight into Mind Control, which is obviously a CC chain that is also fairly easy to execute and works quite well if you do it properly. Good aggression here, but there's Siege Giants at the bottom of the map that need to be dealt with as well. Falstad with the gas, comes in for more damage, and Rhaegar saves himself, and the birdie is gone! Greymane wanted the chicken and got the chicken, but Sylvanas was also dropped, and now it's a 4 versus 3. Greymane is on the run and gets Hanzo'd. So yep, he's gone. Bloodcool is instantly going for the boss and says, guys, why are we wasting our time with Siege Giants? How about we just go for the boss right now? We got a 4 versus 3 on the map, and we have Falstad coming back. So anything else is just not worthy. Let's go! And I think, is the red team really going to try and contest this? Apparently they are. Alright, there's the bunny hop. Getting some action in from Diva, but they cannot possibly take this. Arrow is out, and Rhaegar is gone, and now we're seeing a Jojo fall as well. I gotta admit that I'm not 100% certain what exactly DDX was trying to do here. That was absolutely dog shit. Like, what did they think would happen here? Serious question. Think about the heroes that they had in that fight. Jojo, Diva, Rhaegar. Even in the 3 versus... Like, they know that Falstad is coming back. It's a 3 versus 4 to begin with. Falstad is coming back. How are you taking that with Jojo, Diva, Rhaegar? What am I missing? So, that was an absolute brain fart in my eyes. Maybe they were reminded of game number 1. They were like, guys, the blue team isn't ahead enough. We need to give them a bit more of a lead, or we can't go for the glorious comeback again. I gotta admit, I would love to see that. Like, give me that glorious comeback. But that decision to go for the boss there was absolutely atrocious. Unless I missed something. I mean, maybe there was something that I don't account for right now that just, like, went past me, but... From where I'm standing, they had absolutely no chance of winning this, and then they lose 3 heroes in the process. You lose the boss anyways. So, yeah, it's a bit wild. 9 kills to 3 now. Situation wasn't that bad before, but now it definitely is. And off we go. So, altars are channeled. Each team has currently won, no shrines. Siege shrines have been taken, and currently we have DDX down to the last layer of defense, which is of course the keeps. So there's that. Cure is most likely going to be able to annihilate the bottom keep with the shots fired here, and will. Nobody's contesting that either. And level 16 kicks in for Exodia Light in just a moment. So, well, here we go. Damage output in the game so far, we got 34,000 from Hanzo. Judgment is in, Sylvanas is out. She's the top damage dealer for DDX, by the way, with 26k. But yeah, tough times. For Exodia Light, everything is going well so far. For DDX, not so much. Now, this isn't Towers of Doom. You can still go for a comeback, but it's a bit more complicated to do that when you are on Sky Temple. So we'll see if they can pull that off. For now, though, yeah, Eva. Maybe the red team celebrated a little bit too much after the last one. Every kill, one shot of vodka. And then all of a sudden, you know, the next game just becomes disastrous. Diva is hopping around like a bunny again. Okay. And the Gust is there, Mind Control too. Masquerade is still able to escape though, had the mobility and his skills up. So no problem for him. But they want to force that fight. And they get the birdie! Yeah, get wrecked! Falstad, okay, that's a big kill. And they're following up with more. They get bright. Where have I seen this before? I mean, honestly, are we just replaying map number 1 with slightly different compositions? Or what's going on here? So now they got Greyman and Sylvanas instantly on structures, and I told you earlier on how well that does. Falstad got essentially taken down by the explosion. Yeah, you need to take this. Rega had to go back and claim it. And now they're coming in and taking the next wall out. Even if they don't get the keep here, just destroying the towers and the gate is already helping you. It's all about how many structures can you destroy. And the gap in experience is not fully closed, but they're getting there. So that's the wall gone. And all of a sudden, I don't want to say we're even. We're not. But they've made a pretty big step towards an even playing field. There's still that keep missing at the bottom of the map, which is a problem. So, we'll see. A lot is going to hinge on that next temple that we have in the middle. If they can win this one as well, that's a different story. There's, again... Oh, yeah. Diva is still able to get away here. That was a bit unfortunate. Gust... okay, this... Yeah, okay, they can still take Diva out. Okay. But that was initially a little bit of a weird one, because you had Gust coming in and you had the arrow from Hanzo. A lot of ults used to get the kill against Diva, and they were able to pull it off. Now the chase is on, and I think Jojo's also gonna fall. Nice play from Exodia Light, able to just chase them down and get a few more of the heroes eliminated here. That's what they honestly needed. I still stand by my earlier statement though. If they didn't YOLO as they did at the boss, they would now be in a much better spot. Those kills and the aggression that came afterwards from Exodia Light shifted momentum in the game. Keep likely going to be destroyed. And to make matters worse, there's another boss up. Yeah, this one is going to go straight for the core. Now we're only 13.5 minutes in, meaning it's not going to take the game. But yeah, a couple of the shots were about to be taken. They had to move towards the top again. They at least chased Brightwing off for a second. But to make matters worse, it's not even the structures that get pushed now. It's also the level 20 talent that comes in. That gives us the upgrade for Falstad, for Teriel, and for Brightwing. And then we get, on the other hand, Bullseye for Hanzo, and we get Seraphim for Urel. Okay, now, they are trying to end the game here. They have level 20 and they have a boss pushing. It's still a bit early, but there is a chance. If you get kills, then there's a big chance, and they are about to. Blessed Shield is out. Yeah, but that nearly cost Jojo her life. But as I said, we're still a little bit early here. So here comes the next quick hit. Diva with the explosion. Core has taken some damage. Diva is dead again. Tried to get a counter kill with the explosion and couldn't. But the core is now down to 80%. We'll recover the shield soon, I suppose. But the blue team isn't quite done with this yet. They still have a level 20 advantage and they intend to use it. So there is a temple still up. There's still shots to be fired. So they can easily take the keep out in the middle. Inspire has been activated on the minions. Shield is out too. Judgment again. Cooldown is low, of course, now after 20. Rhaegar is gone. And they eliminate the entire wolf pack by dropping Greymane too. And this is, of course, going to be all she wrote. 3 down already. Now the 4th one falls. 15 kills to 6. And that's an easy Khaldor right there. That's a win. And that is the first point on the board for Exodia Light. Nicely done. GG. Well played. Coming up next, we have game number 3 for you guys. Before we go, a big shout out to everybody that is supporting the channel on patreon.com/Khaldor. Really appreciate the support, guys. Thank you very, very much. If you want to support the channel, if you want to support our efforts to keep the Heroes of the Storm esports scene live with all of the events and tournaments that we're hosting, then please consider to check out patreon.com/Khaldor and support the channel there. It's the best way to support all of the things that we're currently doing for the scene and plan to do in the future. With that being said, enjoy the next game of the series. Game number 3, series is tied. We're going to Cursed Hollow in our best of 5. And I am still struggling to understand what exactly DDX was trying to do when they were going for that boss. So there was obviously a lot more that went wrong in this game. But for Exodia Light, this was a really nice recovery from game number 1, where they probably didn't know what hit them towards the end of the game. Now, very different story. We also have DDX already breaking out of that ban pattern that they showed earlier. Banning Vikings and Brightwing this time. Still intrigued to find out what exactly they're going to do in picks. They're just going to start up with the same thing. Normally what we're getting is obviously still the Diva pick for Virgil. I mean, that's more or less a staple. As I said before, if he gets Diva, he plays Diva. If somebody decides that they want to ban Diva out against him, then they are not really that keen. But yeah, they have first pick, first ban this time, so that's one of the reasons why Blaze gets now eliminated. And they ban Genji. It's a bit of a different map, obviously, with Cursed Hollow, so we'll see. And there's the Rhaegar pick. Danazovsky is not a cat person. That much is definitely clear. So yeah, he's going for Rhaegar, and every now and then he's playing Rhaegar. So a lot of dog action in this game now. He behaved very much like a husky on the last map, though. If you know, you know. Now, double pick on the blue team side. We get Hanzo and Dehaka. Okay, so Kua is for now at least done with the Space Goat and is instead going for Dehaka. Whereas we have the man with the bow and arrow once again. Still a little bit horrible over there. Hawkeye of the Storm. We'll see if you're gonna hit 1 or 2 this time. But please tell me this is not gonna... Diva, is it Jojo? Don't tell me. Thank God. Okay, so they're going for Junkrat this time. Diva and Junkrat. So they're switching things up already. They could still play Shona. They could still take her. And then we get Zeratul banned out. Are we gonna get the birdie again? Are they trying to play false Dehaka here? Well, I guess they were trying to play false Dehaka, but DDX is shutting that down. So Dehaka gets banned too. They're like, you're not playing around us anymore. No more globals for you. That ship has sailed. Now, we're gonna swap into them. Something that I still feel more teams should experiment with is my boy Asmodan. I've seen a fair amount of Asmodan games. I just want to see more. And he's been highly successful. They take Johanna away and they pick Lucio. Okay, so I guess at least Chizakid is a sad panda at this point. He would have most likely still picked Johanna, but now we get Diablo instead. The Lord of Terror is in their house. And, well, he living with damage. Junkrat alone doesn't cut it. So, throw out as many grenades as he wants. But what's it gonna be? Chromie. Does that really excite me? No. Zeratul, Genji are banned, so they just went for Chromie. Alright. But, well, with Dehaka and Johanna now in play, and Lucio for quick rotations, what is Exodia Light going to play right now? This is, again, Game 3, best of 5 series, so one team is now going to take the lead here. And work for match point number 1, and we get Sylvanas. Okay, so that sets us up Heading straight into the map. Cursed Hollow, everybody. Map number 3 between Exodia Light and DDX. Exodia Light in blue, once again on the left side with Hazorps on Sylvanas. We got Cure on Dehaka. Bloodcool is playing Hanzo, and Yazu sitting on Lucio with the Acelerando on level 1. Masquerade is playing Jojo for the team, and then obviously on the right side we have now for the first time on a different hero, not Johanna, it is Shizakid with Diablo. Danozovsky on Rhaegar, we got Yoshiro on Junkrat, Virgil is playing Diva again, and Dead Inside is playing Chromie with the Time Walker's Pursuit on level 1. Now, who's gonna take the lead and go for match point number 1? Dibble's already rushing around over here. I gotta say Diablo is kinda cool without a mount. I have to really admit that there are a couple of skins and stuff where you are just looking super awesome if you are not running a traditional mount. So there's lots of fun with those guys. And Diablo is one of them. So a little bit of action over here already. It's all about the AoE clear, of course. You have to be careful that minions don't push in, or your opponent might just get some auto attacks on structures into proc Inspire. And get that in. Masquerade. They're trying to go for Chromie. Spray game on point. That's how it has to be. And Chromie all alone now. Doesn't have any friends. She's a little bit like Brightwing in that sense. Camps, of course, focused again. Rhaegar is helping with those a little bit. Top side, that's where we have Sylvanas going up against the Diva. Virgil is trying to make it happen. Against Sylvanas, but yeah, so right now, I don't think that there's going to be too much of a chance to really push the lane down or anything. But with Lucian rotating down to the bottom of the map, they're trying to maybe get a hit in on Chromie. In the middle though, have to help out as the camps are colliding here. And it is a 3-man push at this point. Masquerade is the only defender, has his own camp too, so that at least is helpful. They're going for Chromie down at the bottom of the map, and Dead Inside easily walks away from it. Gets a few more shots connected, but... Cure? Alright. Pops the fountain, had the essence, but yeah. No kills this time. Just a reminder, last 2 maps have both started off with Rhaegar instantly dying. So apparently they put Danozovsky on a leash now and sent him towards the back. But, Diablo. Taken down, eliminated. The Lord of Terror, the first one to fall. I mean, at least he didn't Lauber. But that is still a kill in favor of Exodia Light. And Danozovsky has to make it out slowly, as does Yoshiro. All the way up at the top. We now have Bloodcool going up against Virgil still. Bot lane, obviously. Dead Inside still hiding. Cure has been trying to flank in and maybe get a quick lick on Chromie. Every single time I think about Dehaka licking Chromie, I think about, you know, how you lick some of these frogs. You know, like this thing where some shaman or somebody like Nazeebo would like lick a poisoned frog. Chromie has roughly the same size, so in my head this is more or less the same thing. You have essentially just like Chromie there, and she is like some kind of poison or hallucinogen. Like, I don't know, this is just where my mind went. The rest of the team... Ooh, actually they want her. And they're gonna get her! There's the kill. She was trying to go for a counter against the Dehaka and drop Cure, but that wasn't possible. So now we have the push happening down at the bottom of the map with Inspire and Sylvanas. And Masquerade is attempting to channel up at the top. So they're trying to make their play here. Bot lane could suffer some severe losses though. If the blue team doesn't get the channel, that's totally fine as long as they prolong it. But Sylvanas is now getting some company. Yoshiro is coming in with Junkrat and the Pleb Horse. So says goodbye there real quickly. And that's still a tower halfway gone. But the fight for the tribute is ongoing. So this is something that nobody has really given up on. We have Masquerade continuously with channel after channel attempt. And now the red team trying to counter that as best as they can. We still have also the interplay in the middle of the map between Chromie and Sylvanas. But nobody's giving up over here. Virgil gets attacked again, is a little bit low, drops out of the mech and has to retreat here, gets a few pews out, but needs to work on that quickly in order to get the mech back. And yep, that's the quest completed for Hanzo. So generally speaking, it doesn't seem that anybody is going to take this anytime soon. Red team is now taking over the position, and you know what? Nah, there's the interrupt again. Masquerade is the next one. So they're basically just scheduling abilities around whenever they need to get the interrupt in, and Junkrat is just too far out and gets junked as he has zero chance with all that damage that all of a sudden came in. Diablo is now also gone, so that means that 2 heroes are taken down on DDX's side, and that's 5 kills in total to 0 now. 5 kills to 0, and lots of aggression all over the map with the tribute now finally taken. The explosion, but D.Va is the one that didn't make it. So D.Va is now dead too. 6 kills, and Sylvanas is of course pushing hard. The Inspire minions are lending a little bit more strength to the push, but with 4 heroes on the lane, you have plenty of damage that you can dish out. And that's the entire wall drawn. And of course a level 10 ability that the blue team is now running. So this is gonna give them some power here. Still, for me personally, when we talk about Shattering Teeth, I don't know why, but this is still one of the funniest talents for me that we have in the game. It's absolutely hilarious. So, yeah, Hanzo's trying to deal with that as best as he can, but we still don't have level 10 for DDX, and that means that the camp is likely going to be stolen away. They might even lose some heroes here. Red team was hoping to get the camp, can't, and now it's taken. There's also a Blessed Shield that just came out. Q is a bit low, and, well, he's actually the one that falls. Camp is taken, but Q is gone. They are trying for Rhaegar, but Danuzovsky is also still fine. And then Shizakid just jumped in, grabbed Janna's head, and crushed it into the wall, and totally dropped her. So, easy wall slam kill by Diablo. And a channel attempt that is going to be shut down. They had vision on Bloodcore and they realized, okay, this isn't going to happen. Sylvanas has been pushing the top lane a bit more. This is that side lane pressure that I've been talking about earlier. You always have to react to it quickly, which is, to be fair, what DDX did. So they jumped towards the top lane with D.Va and are now dealing with it. 6 kills to 2. Those were also 2 important kills, but they of course need a little bit more. So over here on the left side, yeah, we got still some of them rotating over to defend properly. It's most of the mid lane and bot lane right now that are the target, especially with the tribute positioning being between the 2 of them. So, small little skirmishes as everybody is trying to fight for position. It's kind of funny how they went around both of these traps. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Sylvanas! Okay, Chromie gets the kill. And all of a sudden, the blue team in risk of losing their tribute, and this is generally speaking a bit of an advantageous position for the tribute spawn from the perspective of Exodia Light. So that kind of sucks a bit, but well, Masquerade is already sitting tight for the next interrupt. Virgil doing his best and gets interrupted again, but down here the Ancestral hits and allows the red team to fight a little bit longer. They were hoping to get the kill against Hanzo. That hasn't quite worked. Junkrat now the one to try the channel again, but guess who's back? It's Sylvanas! And it's a wave, an interrupt, and over here Masquerade is about to take the mech down as the fight at the bottom continues to focus on the frontliners. Diablo in this case down, gone, might come back in time, but the interrupt is hitting Masquerade. Bit of a zoning attempt also from D.Va here, I suppose. Blood Coolers to Hearth back. Dehaka against Chromie, and Hazu is able to grab himself another tribute, which is tribute number 2. Yasuo escaping with negative hit points, more or less. And then Dehaka, well, he didn't make it, so Dehaka is down. 7 kills to 4. DDX has missed out on another tribute, but at least they were able to get another kill. So maybe they can change the momentum of the game a little bit. Body blocks, and that's a kill. Nice! Very nice kill indeed. That was pretty cool by Shizakid. Able to body block Masquerade completely from going through the gate. D.Va, by the way, is pushing at the top as they are pushing down here at the bottom. So that's a nice Inspire push that we have. Arrow from Hanzo at the bot lane. And they are starting on the chase as Diablo pops his ult and forces them back. But this is how he actually started to get that kill in. And D.Va is still pushing at the top lane. This is actually starting to get a little bit nasty. She took the entire wall out, and now she has essentially 2 backline waves to take that fort out, and nobody is reacting to it. Virgil is just sitting here, gets one attack in after another, And again, he took the wall out, and now he's basically taking out the entire fort. That thing is more or less gone. Still on the map, but not for long. Boss gets taken down at the bottom of the map by Exodia Light, but they just sacrificed a lot topside. And this boss is claimed, the tribute has already been channeled, so that was the first one in the hands from DDX. And both of the teams take a boss here. So, I gotta say, Exodia Light might have had some pretty nice moments in the earlier stages of the game, but right now, this is an even battle between the two teams. The 5 kill to 0 advantage that the blue team was running earlier is more or less gone. Now, since we've been talking a lot about reacting to things, nobody's reacting to that push at the bottom. They're basically riding off the fort, and they're saying, okay, we're going to see what we can do with the defense later on. So this fort, they're just sacrificing it. Top side, talking about forts gone. Obviously, this one had no chance of survival. D.Va's the only one pushing right now, and Q is trying to defend. Siege Giant still claimed by the red team, so that helps with the boss defense a little bit more. Timing is actually perfect for them here. Siege Giant's in a perfect position to start dealing with this. They take the minion waves out very quickly to ensure that there's no push with an inspired minion wave. And the boss doesn't do too much. So at the end of the day, each team now lost the fort. That's kind of what happened. You can argue that the boss at the top did a little bit more, but there's also the curse now with the last tribute being channeled, and with the 2-1 lead that Exodia Light had, there's the curse right there. With decent defense, this might not hurt them that much. I think that the top lane is very likely going to be lost, but a lot of the lanes were not pushed in that aggressively. So you have camps now up on the lane too. This might actually still be a pretty decent one for DDX. I think they're going to lose one fort. I would honestly be surprised if they lose more than that. And both of the teams are closing on level 60 now. So definitely something to consider. Top lane, in my opinion, can't be salvaged. Oh, Dehaka, careful. They go for D.Va, and that should be a kill. Yeah, they all collapse on the pilot, and that was just too much. Nice arrow follow-up. Lick first with Dehaka, arrow from Hanzo, and then everybody else was there too. So, topside fort is about to go down as expected. Dehaka is moving into the middle. And now with the 5 versus 4, you know what? Exodia Light might just be able to get that second fort in the middle end as well. But the curse is nearly over. Curse is nearly over, but they still might be able to get it. There's no counter kill. There's a double wave now inspired by the attacks against the structure. And yep, that fort still falls. That's the problem with losing D.Va there. If D.Va survives, I think this one still stands. So 2 forts gone. Solid curse. Nothing insane. So it's definitely not going to go on your resume or anything. But was good enough to put them a little bit ahead here on structures. Quite significantly, actually. Problem is that the red team is still ahead in XP. 35,000 damage for Chromie so far. 39,000 for Hanzo. Both of the teams at the 12-minute mark now with level 16 talents and ready to slowly work towards the Storm talents. But it is a bit of a nail-biter because, like, again, this is where one of the teams pulls ahead and gives themselves a match point. If you win game 3, you have 2 match points potentially. So, yeah, we'll see who pulls it off. In kills, it's still Exodia Light that is ahead. But the gameplay from DDX has gotten better. Now it's just a question of whether or not they can get some map control again. Because as you can see at the mid lane and the bot lane, they've lost a lot of that. So, yeah, Shiza Kid, again, coming in with the hits. D.Va this time moving back a little bit faster. I have to admit that Virgil oftentimes gets ganked up by the entire blue team, but they did pretty okay dealing with the side lane. There's a lot of teams that have issues with Virgil's D.Va and even ban her out, but more of a, hey, we can deal with it approach from Exodia Light, and so far it's honestly working. I mean, this game they killed D.Va 3.5 times, there's obviously mech kills included too, but just generally speaking throughout the series so far, you could see that they're targeting D.Va very well and are also following up to ensure that after the mech is destroyed, they also get the pilot. Tribute number 2 potentially for DDX. Position is definitely in their favor. Mid lane, so Chromie just trying to make sure that those minions are not getting out of hand. But there will be a lot of interrupts. Masquerade is already sitting here and is trying to get those hits in. Yeah, they have to force that fight eventually. I mean, they're not just gonna sit there and just give them the tribute. This one is gonna get interrupted over and over and over again. Diablo tries once more, that's just not happening. Actually, he went for the glare over here, but Hanzo can still interrupt too. Sylvanas is using the freedom that she has to push in the middle. Chromie has to deal with it. So, yeah, that could destroy a couple of things, of course, as well. Especially since the global that we have, the only global that we have, is at the bottom of the map and is now attempting to push for the next wall too. Would love if Q would just stay a little bit longer to get the ooh, Hanzo going down. Get the Inspire mechanic kick in. But that's a tribute essentially now. And the Haka has then instantly moved down to the bottom of the map. So now we have inspired minions. Should there be a difference in which hero tries to inspire them? I mean, honestly, if the Haka tries to inspire you, the guy can't even properly talk. So I don't really know if that's that big of a morale boost that you should get that the same amount of attack speed and movement speed than, I don't know, let's say if somebody like Sylvanas inspires you. When she yells at you, full drill sergeant style, I mean, I would be inspired. So I'm just saying, there should be a little bit of a difference. Kind of, the timing here was actually a bit clutch. So each team has gotten their boss again, but this could have gotten a little bit faster rotation. Take your own boss a bit faster, and all of a sudden we're looking at a very interesting situation and fight at the bottom of the map. But now that we have a potential third tribute for DDX, this is where things should be starting to get a bit more spicy. So if you can make your play there and get that, then they have a chance to actually bring the game back a bit. Both teams are closing on level 20. We still have the structure advantage for Exodia Light. They are 2 forts ahead at this point, but they don't have a single tribute to their name. So there's an opportunity now for DDX to try and draw even a little bit. This boss still doing damage at the keep. D.Va is defending and is trying her best here, but yeah, that bad boy is still working it. So D.Va just with a little bit of pew pew pew, but little that she can do here. Blessed Shield is out. They're trying to get the kill. Q a bit low. They're trying to focus on Danazovsky, and he's gone. Danazovsky is gone. Chromie is gone too. And that leaves Diablo, who's trying to escape, but he's getting body blocked, and he's not going to make it either. Eventually, he's going to die from the looks of it. We don't have a damage dealer here. Sylvanas is finally arriving after taking Junkrat down. So that's 4 heroes gone, and all of a sudden, Exodia Light just absolutely flipped the script on them. We have the core already attacked, and a good chance that they're, if not going for the core, then at least go for another keep. So sidewall is already opened up, easily coming in here, and keep or core. What's the target? Seems like they're going for the core, and makes perfect sense. There's no damage dealers available right now for DDX. It's only the 2 frontliners, and the shield is just falling too quickly. D.Va is doing what she can. The Haka doesn't even care. He just keeps attacking the core here, and it's already down to 60%. Exodia Light is going to take the lead in this best of 5 series. D.Va is gone, so is the core. Very nice fight towards the end of the game, and Exodia Light with a big victory here was able to snowball it towards the core and take Cursed Hollow. GG. Well, it's match point. Exodia Light has taken the lead, and now we're going to Dragonshire. So, Hanzo, the first one that gets removed. This was a consistent pick for Exodia Light in the last couple of games. I mean, it's generally the thing in every single tournament that we have, that over the course of the tournament, the ban patterns change. The more information you have of your opponent, the more those change too. I'm still not really a fan of these Vikings bans. We have only seen Vikings, I believe, once. Did we see him twice? In a new patch. Once or twice. So, it's a little bit sad. If I have a chance to see the Vikings, I would actually like that. There's a couple of heroes that I would still like to see in the new patch, which would be pretty cool, but haven't seen that much around it yet. Also, a quick reminder, if you watch this video on YouTube right now, make sure that you hit that like button. Helps a lot with the algorithm, and watch it to the end. Liking, subscribing, spreads the love a little bit, and we're getting more and more people actually interested in Heroes of the Storm again. Now with the new patch and everything, people are actually clicking on the videos. It's kind of funny to me, by the way. I have every week multiple people right now that comment on videos that I upload and are saying, oh my god, there's still tournaments in this game? or that are like, wait, this game is still around? So it's kind of fun to see that, and to also have some of them come back. And again, you can help by liking the video and subscribing to the channel. All of that favors us a bit in the algorithm over other things, and gets more people back into the game, which is obviously pretty awesome. But yeah, it's still kind of funny when I see people being confused by the fact that we have still tournaments. I'm like, we never really stopped. So, yeah. Vala! Ooh, okay. Alright. We have that Rhaegar pick again, and once that I saw Rhaegar taken, I was just like, are they just gonna continue picking the same stuff? But we are going for a very different composition right now. We have Vala, we have Varian, so they are definitely looking at a different style for game number 4, trying to see if that is what will help them here. But, yeah. Gonna be interesting. We get Chromie, we have Muradin. Chen gets banned. Can create a bit more space. I would assume that in this case Vala is going to play an auto attack style, even though we've of course seen the arrow build played not only in the context of Battlefield of Eternity. Could lead to a second. Big sneeze out of nowhere. Woof! You can thank me for that one. I nearly killed your eardrums, at least of all the headset users or the headphone users that are out there. Whoa. That was a dangerous one. That would have blown your ears off. As I was just about to say, there is a chance that we're getting a second support for DDX or just a pretty strong frontline. There's also a chance that we get that arrow build over anything else, but yeah. For the blue team, we now have Anduin and we get Yrel. Father against son, the duel is there. Anduin is still, I mean, honestly, he's an embarrassment. Varian, as a father, you know, he has like this rough style, like, he's somebody that has seen battle, that has seen war, whereas Anduin is just like somebody that just like sits in the backline the entire day, doesn't really know how to properly hold a sword, throws light around and stuff like that. If I'm Varian, then I would just have been not only disappointed, but I would be embarrassed. This is why he yells so much when you pick Smash, because this is just like the pain that he lets out, you know, it's been bottled up for so long, and he just said like, oh my god. If I was Varian, I would ask for a paternity test, because I have questions. Reyna as a final pick, I like it. So Reyna as a choice, that's pretty cool. Vala, Reyna, and then Maiev for Bloodcool. I don't know who's going to take it, but I think this is going to be a fun one. Dragon Try, everybody. Game number 4. So, match point for Exodia Light. The blue team with Chromie, played by Hazo. We get Bloodcool on Maiev. Q has gone back to the Space Code after the last map. So that's the 3rd time for him in the series. Yasuo on Anduin and Masquerade on Muradin. On the other hand, with the red team, we're getting a lot of auto attack styles and a lot of stacks here. We got Yoshiro and Vala with Creed of the Hunter on level 1. And then we got Reyna, played by Dead Inside, with Veteran Marksman. Shizakid is playing Variant on Azovsky Rhaegar, and Virgil is on Diva. Yeah, there were days in the past where Creed of the Hunter was an absolute meme talent. During HGC, if you took Creed of the Hunter, you basically just admitted that you were either a heavy drinker or that you were placed somewhere in Plastic League. Like, it was one of the worst talents that you could possibly take. Some teams occasionally tried to make it work. I think Darkmok had at some point a game where he tried to play it for Team Liquid in the HGC days, and it just didn't work out for them. Teams were always hoping that they could get the value in the late game, but yeah, the talent was absolutely atrocious. It was really one of those where you knew that whoever picked it didn't read the talent description. But then Blizzard changed it, and it became a very viable option. It is these days the go-to play. So a lot of single target damage that we're now getting from DDX. And Exodia Light, they are of course in a position where they can end the series here and move on to the next round. Eliminate their opponent. But it should be an interesting one. Varian is in the meantime practicing his taunts for level 4. Some of those come naturally. Some things are just like too easy. I mean, Varian should actually get an extra taunt time, extra CC time whenever he goes up and uses his ability against Anduin, because that one is just too easy. It's just like, come in, Anduin, and he whisper in his ear, "You were an accident." No! So, yeah, there's like a ton of opportunities, honestly, there. You can't make any your mom jokes when you're going up against Anduin as Varian, though, because, well, I mean, you know. Then again, all the way up at the top, Jimmy. Getting those hits in as well, one after another. Alright, Danazovsky. No, not this time. Come on, you can escape. Doggy gone. He is able to move out. Good for him. Taunt is ready. And then Anduin gets taunted and killed immediately. I told you, it's what's going to happen here. Yep. The condom had a hole. No. Yeah, Anduin was definitely not wanted. Anyways, I mean, he's still not wanted. So, Yrel goes down 2, that's the second kill. And damn son, DDX is coming out swinging over here. Vala is dancing around the middle. And up at the top, we now have Behemoth Armor and we have Veteran Marksman. And the two of them are just absolutely crushing it. So, kill after kill. D.Va went maybe a little bit too deep and now pays the price. But especially for someone like Jimmy, this is solid. We're only 2-3 minutes into the game and he has decent stacks on level 1 and also on level 4. So that's actually very good. Stacks are also important for Vala, but you can get away with a lot if you're not dying and you have your attack speed once you hit level 16 and get Manticore. But for Jimmy, it's actually really important that he gets those stacks to make sure that he gets the proper damage output as the game continues and is also in a position where he has a bit more survivability. So all of this is working very, very well for him. Curious to see what they can do in the late game. It's all a battle around the objective and the shrines now, of course. And the blue team has gotten their kills. They got 2, last one being Rhaegar. But that early game push at the top lane with the camp, that was pretty sweet from DDX. If they can build on plays like that, then this is going to be a tough game for the blue team. So, we'll see. I mean, for now, we also get the unstable compound for Jimmy. There's another one that he can play around with. Hit point pool is obviously getting increased here as well. Not only from the pick itself, but we already have 13 stacks, which means another 100 hit points for him. So this is really going to add up. And for somebody that is generally having problems with survivability just because he isn't really a mobile hero, it's a pretty nice tool to have. Blue team applying pressure with the double control on the shrines, which forces Varian to sit in the middle. And D.Va is trying to retake at the top, and Vala is down at the bottom of the map. Still locked into her battle with Chromie. And the Dragonite is just taken. Dragonite is just claimed. They weren't able to do anything about it. Not enough people to try and interrupt. And then you have, of course, all the stuns that you have to play around. So this is where Vala should at least attempt to get some stacks. If you're going up against the Dragonite and you have heroes that are stacking on their attacks, the Dragonite is a fantastic target to just do exactly that. That's why Vala is instantly matching the rotation to move down to the bottom of the map and weave a few in. Makes her life so much easier. So just make sure that she is not getting, oh yeah, flanked. But with Rhaegar around, that's fine. But yeah, Vala is now sitting behind the gate. It's just working the attacks in. They're sitting at 35 now, so this definitely helped her. I mean, she was formerly sitting at like 19 or something. So, yeah, it was a little bit better for her. Top side, though, there's also an attack now against the fort, and you know what? This one actually falls. It's a bit of a weird one, if you ask me, because right now what we're seeing is, okay, a kill against Varian, but the Dragonite has not been able to help the blue team to take a fort down, and instead they are basically losing the one at the top. So, yeah, that's what's happening here. So, yeah, it's kind of wild. But down at the bot lane now, they're diving deep behind it. They go for Yoshiro and Danazovsky, and Vala is gone. And that's, of course, one of the Gambit stacks eliminated, which means that she loses some of her auto attack speed. Danazovsky might be able to make it. I mean, he's certainly wasting their time quite nicely. You gotta give him that. He's wasting their time magnificently. So, he's gonna die eventually here. Could even self-ancestral if he wanted to waste it even further, but doesn't. For a second, I really thought if he ancestrals and then just goes up towards the top that he might be able to get away. But no, so they kill him. But they lost a lot of time, and the death timers, let's face it, they're not that high. So, was that really worth it? I mean, not 100% sure on this. I mean, yeah, it was, but still. 36 stacks for Jimmy. 23 for Behemoth Armor. It's not bad. This is really not bad. 6 minutes in. That's a decent amount of stacks and single target damage that he gets. He's top damage in the game. So Jimmy is currently at 21,000. D.Va is pushing at the top again, has taken the fort out over here. But the blue team reacts with a push at the bottom of the map and draws even. So they're going to get this one. This is an interesting game because we are going to see more and more stacks come together for Jimmy and Vala as the game continues. And late game damage against single targets is something that especially Muradin is not going to enjoy at all. There's a few other candidates obviously at the front line here. Once again the taunt attempt, but yeah. Masquerade was ready for this one. One of the reasons why they're of course also working those taunts in is because they are hoping to get themselves a few more stacks for someone like Jimmy. You can already tell that his stacking has slowed down a little bit. Just a little bit. Because one of the problems that you have here is that initially there were a lot of fights that he were able to engage into. And that just wasn't the case over the last couple of minutes because the blue team is now trying to play this a bit more passive. So here we go. Another couple of hits come in. Jimmy attack, targeted, tethered, light bomb. It's already out, nice. And it's working a few more auto attacks in. He has the taunt. Disc is out. But by now we have Jimmy sitting at 39 stacks. That late game damage, if he can continue like this, that late game damage is going to be spectacular. Yeah. Jimmy now going up against Cure. Going for the stutter step here. Leaving a few more in. The battle down at the bottom of the map could help out in the middle, but he wants to try and take the altar up at the top. Has to also defend. So at the same time, Vala hit. Blood cool though. Maiev gone. Muradin in trouble. Tries to get out. Pilot also on the run. And Virgil gets the Ancestral and makes it. Yeah, Cure is not going to be able to get that kill, I would assume. Actually, the fort is gone, so Virgil might actually die here. Gets away, Rhaegar's on the run, and now we have Vala saying hello, and I suppose this is going to put a stop to it. But for a second, they had a chance here. Oh, Shizak hit. No! Varian is gone, and they engaged at the bottom as well, and now they lost Rhaegar too. Okay, that kind of sucks a little bit. Fantastic for Exodia Light, but for DDX, this is a setback. Yeah, definitely. Now, they go for Jimmy, and some of these deaths are just not necessary. I like a lot of the things that DDX is generally doing, and I feel a lot of their playstyle is super fun to watch. But sometimes they just make a few decisions where you're sitting there and you're thinking like, come on boys. That move into the middle, Jimmy just asked for it, and it reminds me a bit of what's been done earlier when they lost the boss on Sky Temple. Now we have a Dragon Knight taken, the Inspire push in the mid lane has already done work, and with the DK they should definitely be able to net themselves some extra structures. Now, if Jimmy and Vala can use the Dragon Knight to at least stack a little bit, that would obviously be great, and Vala is already doing exactly that. They're still all fighting for that camp here, and it's finally taken. So Jimmy is back, works the single target damage in, and is sitting at 44, 45 stacks now. I mean, again, his survivability is increasing, he has a cooldown reduction now on 13, so this is something. But the gap in experience has now been widened as well. It's the structures that are being destroyed, it's also the kills that we have. As in most of the previous games, Exodia Light is just ahead on the kill count. 31,000 damage for Jimmy. He's actually ahead in kills compared to everyone else here. And he's doing okay. I mean, he's working the numbers in. The question is just how long is this going to continue for him. And then you have Vala, who's sitting at 17,000, gets killed again. Which means that now 10% of the attack speed bonus is gone. Bit of an experience distribution, by the way, here as well. And Varian is gone. The difference in hero experience is insane. And then on top of that, you have also a pretty significant difference in minion experience, just showcasing that Exodia Light is doing a better job soaking the lanes. Jimmy gets the Ancestral, is able to get out, and is still able to get some hits in. Okay, very nice penetrating round 2. That might have saved Anazovsky. He had the extra armor from the defense mechanic on the fort. But yeah. 55 stacks for Jimmy. 43 by now for his level 4. Which means in total he's nearly at 500 extra hit points that he has now through the talent. So, yeah. He is definitely getting a little bit more tanky on this one. And, of course, disregarding that for just a second, we have him also with that single target damage that is coming in. If they make it for a few more talents, this could get nasty. The problem is really that experience gap. We're going to see Exodia Light. I mean, Exodia Light has been fighting the last few battles with the level 16 talent advantage already. So this has been, from the beginning, in every single encounter that we had there, a problem for the red team. Now that they've picked up their own level 16 talent, and we finally have Manticore in, and we also have, for example, Paint and Red, the problem is still that in only 2 more levels, Exodia Light is going to get level 20 talents, and if they can maintain the gap between the two teams in XP, that's a huge window. It's a big window to play with. So what we're getting instead is an aggressive push at the bottom of the map, take that gate out, get some vision. Blue team is ready, and now work the numbers a bit. Nice! Beautiful penetrating round. Masquerade was about to jump in with a light bomb, and then Jimmy hits him, pushes him back, and makes sure that this is not going to become a problem. Disco and Rhaegar. Jimmy still fighting though, gets the attacks in. Gets a lot of attacks in. Jimmy is essentially now at a point where he is doing more damage, or he's about to do more damage with his level 1 choice than he would with Ace in the Hole and continuous slows on the other team. That's obviously always the argument that's being made, as Urel is eliminating another fort at the top. The argument is essentially always, is it worth it to go into Veteran Marksman, or is Ace in the Hole better? Ace in the Hole, of course, relies on proccing the extra damage on you taking, or you be slowing a target. But with the stacks that Jimmy has, that's worth it. The problem is that this at the bottom of the map is totally not worth it. That's the issue. We can talk about Jimmy and praise him all day, every day, but right now they're losing everyone. They lost Diva too. That's 4 heroes down, and that's just sad. That's another Dragon Knight. And let's not forget that Urel already took the fort at the top lane out. So, yes, Jimmy as a pick is interesting here. It's cool to see him this impactful with the kills that they have. But the problem is, the stacks that he has. The problem is that you're still looking at 16 kills to 3. An opponent has a 3-level lead over you, and is just absolutely running you ragged here. So that's DDX essentially signing out of this tournament. Unless there's a bit of a miracle and somebody steps it up like a madman, then this is going to be it. They're obviously trying to go for the core here, and I mean, why wouldn't they? They can take that dragon down a little bit faster with all the single target damage that they're running, as long as they're not losing anyone. But there's still tons and tons of damage done. Jimmy is working auto attacks, and God, I want to see him on 20. I really want to see him in like 3-4 minutes on level 20 with even more stacks. But look at Muradin. Muradin is hating this. And for good reason. I mean, he's going up against Manticore right now. Jimmy has the mad auto attack, but they're too far behind. Can they really recover here? It's a stretch. It's really a stretch. It's not impossible. But, yeah. Now, just checking in damage numbers again. Look at the output from Jimmy. Again, he's an auto attacker. Not like long-range barrages with spells and abilities like we see from Chromie. And there is that level 20 that we still have to point out once more. Rhaegar gets killed again, got the Ancestral basically through, but yeah, still dead. Apologies, Ancestral did not get through, got reset to a short cooldown. But yeah, Jimmy is going to work this, but it's a 2-level gap still. It's insane. 70 stacks for Jimmy and 57 on the Behemoth armor. So, yeah. Mad damage, but it's going to be enough. Goes for Muradin. And Muradin... Disc is already out. Instead, actually, the target on Urel... Oh, Hazu! Hazu had to quickly pull his last little lifeline, because that would have been a potential kill. But instead, it's Varian that dies. But as I said, they are just desperately trying to survive. They're being put to a wall and are about to be executed. It's literally just endless pressure from Exodia on every single lane with the exception of the top lane. And it's just starting to be a bit too much. This, on the other hand, is kind of funny, because they are going to take a significant amount of damage here. But besides that, the blue team is just now falling back onto the map and getting themselves a couple of camps that they can push with. And all the DDX is doing is sitting in their base and thinking, well, gotta wait for Varian, gotta wait for level 20, and then maybe we can do something later down the road. But it's another Dragon Knight now, and they cannot contest it. So Muradin is sitting in the middle, and now we're just gonna see Dragon Knight number, what is this, 3, 4? For the blue team, marching again for the core in another attempt to end the game right here. because Exodia Light obviously does not want to be in a situation where DDX gets their Storm Talons and has a chance to fight back on it. 74 stacks, 16 minutes, and god, imagine this being like a 25, 26 minute game. Would have loved to see this. Interesting choices, but Exodia Light is just a bit too strong from the looks of it. So Dragon Knight is coming in, 17 minutes. Have fun trying to defend this. It's not going to be easy, if not impossible. Dragon Knight just does too much damage right now, and even with Vala and Jimmy both going for him. There's the Light Bomb. They're going for Jimmy. Guys, this is it, this game. Exodia Light takes the series with a 3-1, moves on to the next round as DDX gets eliminated from the tournament. Nice showing, but it wasn't good enough. And that's game. Dragonshire and the best of 5 go to the blue team. GG.